I just want to ask what you're here to spread awareness about today, and what's the message behind the cause?
Okay, so we're from Doggy 911, and we rescue, rehabilitate and rehome dogs destined for the dog meat trade in China.
Yeah.
We find them homes across the UK and Ireland. So we do. We have another 4 dogs coming over in November, 2 weeks time, and then we have another 8 dogs coming over there in December.
Wow.
So we do. So up to date then, up until then, that'll be almost 50 dogs rehomed.
That's awesome. And you're obviously animal lovers. I mean, you've seen the dogs here. I love dogs myself. I love animals. I was just wondering, do you think like with animals, and like these are rescued from slaughterhouses, do you think that like, do you guys think about the connection between other animals and slaughterhouses and that sort of thing?
We do, yes. It's very different. I do understand that different cultures eat different meats and all the rest, but in China they torture the dogs because they believe the meat tastes better.
I've read into that.
The abuse that they go through is absolutely horrific. It is barbaric, and for somebody to do that to another creature, I'm vegetarian myself, so I choose not to eat meat, but I'm not going to ram that down somebody else's throat. But yes, it's more the fact that they torture the man's best friend. Basically, these dogs who are
skin
so
them alive
loyal.
and put them in a pot of boiling water.
Set them on fire and hit them with hammers. I've seen a load of the footage. I myself am a vegan, so I literally seen what happened to typical animals that we eat in slaughterhouses, and I just instantly disagreed with it and thought it was cruel. And I know what happens to these dogs in like Asia is horrific. But do you think that like what happens to farm animals that are typically farmed, like do you think that that's okay, or that they're like I feel when I do these interviews and talk to people, there's this notion of humane slaughter. Do you subscribe to that, or do you think that there is a humane way to take someone's life when they have a preference to keep on living?
Well, no. I mean, like, there's no humane way to kill anything. Like, but some processes are done in a bit nicer way. It may not be any more inhumane or any more humane, but I think though what the connection that most people make is that this is man's best friend. This is a domesticated animal to us. It's not an animal out in the field. So there is that bit of a connection.
That's
there.
Totally. So often I actually use that in conversation. There's a form of activism catching on now, and people are out with like a clipboard and they're advocating the legalization of dog meat for consumption. But the other side of it is people are outraged and they're like, no, that's crazy. Why would you do that? And then you're sort of like, if you think it's crazy to eat one type of animal, why is it okay? Why do you think it's okay that we kill other animals who have the capacity to suffer just as much and have the desire to suffer, have the preference to live just like our sorry. all good.
Well, I think
I can pause this if you. No, you're okay.
I think people can make their own choices. My choice is not to eat meat.
And would that be for ethical reasons?
It's just for being an animal lover.
Same here.
That's my now I'm not vegan, so I do still eat dairy products, but my own decision is not to eat any sort of animal meat. But friends and family of mine do, and I'm not totally against that. My belief, I suppose I maybe don't know enough about it, but my belief is that it is done instantly and it's a lot more humanely compared to what is done in China, where this torture can go on for days and it is just horrific. It's horrendous.
You wouldn't wish it upon your worst enemy.
No, there is absolutely no need for it. I mean,
basically, the longer they can keep the dog alive, which is suffering, the better it is. Whereas we would never do that to any animal over here, whether it's consumption for meat or not. It just wouldn't happen. It just would not be able to happen.
And do you think that there's this idea that people think that we need to eat animal products? Do you think that we need to eat animal products, or that we could do without it, or be better off, like for example dairy and eggs and things like that?
I don't know, it's hard to know. I know there are a lot of kind of studies recently that would say that we probably don't need to, and there's we're maybe
it's slowly coming out, that information.
It really, I know it's more of a it's a lot of people's lifestyle choice. It's like a health choice as opposed to maybe an ethical animal choice.
I mean, even with the advent of the internet, it's just so much easier to find out what's going on. And like I myself, I didn't know. I don't know if you know. Most people don't know this. I just feel obligated, kind of in the same vein that you do. This is a cause close to your heart.
Yes, exactly.
These animals are innocent, they're vulnerable, they can't defend themselves, and we just take advantage of them. So I learned, for example, the dairy industry, those cows produce milk for one reason, for their babies. And when we're banned milk, they have to separate the babies from the mothers. They take them away, they kill the males because they'll never produce milk. Pretty much not long after they live, because it costs them money to keep them alive, and it's a business at the end of the day for money. And in the egg industry, it's the same with male chicks. So because they'll never lay eggs, they're actually thrown alive into like a grinder, and that's standard legal practice. And most people, like, did you know about that?
No, I didn't. I mean, I've heard bits and pieces about the dairy industry. I think the human race is just a lot to answer for, and I think humans.
I think because it's been part of the culture for so long, it's going to take a very, very long time to change it.
Totally agree.
It's not going to change overnight.
It never will.
Change anybody's.
The same within China as well.
It's the same with China. It's going to take maybe the third generation.
China will be the last.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
And I suppose it is all about education, as you say. You know, the growth of the internet, and
that's why I started like a channel to just have these friendly conversations, see where people are at, see what people know, and just pass on what someone passed on to me. And I get the whole, like, vegans catch a bad rep for like forcing their beliefs down other people's throat and stuff, but so I heard a guy talking about it, and he was like, you know, when you're not vegan or when you're buying animal products, you're forcing an animal to die for your beliefs, you know, and that just blew me away. And I was like, I have never heard that said that way before. Before I heard the vegan message, like I was totally asleep to the idea of like meat being from a living animal, and I'm horrified when I think about that now. And I'm just like, how did I not make that connection? Because I've always loved dogs. I had hamsters and always an animal lover, but there's so much money put into keeping us like looking the other way, and billboards and stuff, focusing on the end product and not the process of the animal who preferred to live and had a family and stuff like that. But
I think I probably could go vegan if
it's a lot easier
into it too. I suppose, I mean, I have to be completely honest, I maybe have turned a blind eye. I'm thinking, you know, well, I'm not eating meat, I'm doing a great thing, but I suppose you don't really consider the other methods of being so cruel.
But the thing is with meat, you know, there's me saying I didn't make the connection, I was asleep. To most people, I was aware in the very back of my mind meat came from the body of an animal, but you obviously went vegetarian because you made that connection yourself. It's not obvious with eggs or dairy that someone's actually losing their life there. It's just not obvious in any way. And I just feel like these animals can't speak up for themselves, and it's the right thing to do to speak up and be a voice for them. I carry around these little info cards, and it's just like a lecture. Like there's a lecture on YouTube. That's what actually made me vegan. This one thing alone. There's a documentary about the environment, how bad it is for the planet, just agriculture in general. And there's documentaries about health and how bad dairy particularly is actually for your health. But all I'm trying to do here is just pass that out, and it's up to people if they want to check it out or not. But if I just left your card, would you be interested?
No problem.
Thank you so much. My name's Thomas, by the way. What were your names?
Oh, sorry, I'm Rosie.
I'm Shakira.
Thank you so much.
No problem, Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.